Alright, I'm looking to get into a company. I want to work on a team. I want to be an educator for a company. I'm looking at Redfin right now, but do you think it's better to get on a new up-and-coming company or someone that's already established? Because I've been told it's better to do a new and up-and-coming company because I have a better chance of making it up to the top, or, you know, but I'm still open.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys this. You have to be under someone in order to be over someone. Okay, how that applies is a new and up-and-coming company, you know, they can't really commit to you and pay you what you need to be paid to learn. They don't have the structure, and unless they're coming in with big investors and already established, like business model-wise, then I can see that. But other than that, I would go to an established company that's doing great things already. Learn under them a protocol, right, for yourself, a standard. Then you go to the new company and actually apply it.
Okay.
So I wouldn't burn the bridge or the relationship with the new company, right? But I would definitely get a manufacturer that's established.
Okay. What do you think is the most fashion-forward company that's on top right now?
Orbe,
Orbe?
for sure.
Okay.
And Bumble.
And Bumble. And what is the best competition that's out right now? I know there's the Renton one, the North American.
The Bearstar.
Yeah. No.
The
No?
not? What did he win?
The
North, the Trend Visions.
NAHA.
No, he didn't win the NAS.
No, he didn't.
He won the Trend Vision Awards as a student.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to be competing, that's a good one to go into now.
Wella?
Yeah. The Nahas are like the most prestigious award that you can possibly get.
They have a student category.
They do have a student category, so you can either go in that too. I won the Nahas 3 years in a row.
Right. My next question is, I'm looking between L'Oreal and Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble's higher than L'Oreal, and it's American. Well, you're from the U.S. But does that even matter? Like picking a like.
I think you have a good mindset and vision, but I don't think you're even close to that yet. You know what I mean? I don't think you're. I'm not judging where you're at, but I'm just saying, being a student, you should enjoy what all that has to give to you first, because there's hairdressers that don't even have a client base that aren't even thinking about that yet, and a lot of artists, I tried to do freelance right at the beginning, and I starved. I lost a marriage. I lost everything because I was too ahead of myself. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like Brenton right now, you guys know Brenton?
Yeah.
Okay, Brenton right now, he's walking in the same footsteps I was. He's got all these manufacturers coming at him. We've been, you know, I sit down with him every time he does a competition, and we kind of go over what he's gonna present. But right now he's so young and anxious. He's making a lot of decisions that are like, you're gonna crash and burn, for sure. He's trying to get married. He's doing, you know, all kinds of stuff that it's like, dude, you're a student. Just learn, build your relationships, and it won't be so hard. You won't lose as much. You know what I mean? But see, back then when I was doing it, I gave up everything. I walked away from a family. I walked away from, you know, basically any kind of stability. You know, I was literally a hair whore, basically. You know, so I'm just saying, like, there's a cost to get on that level that I was telling you. You know, we're talking, you got to make decisions how far you want on that range, because there was no life for me. I was working 263 days a year, flying everywhere, but I had no life. You know what I mean? I was literally empty. So, ask yourself.
Since you've worked in other countries, what would you say the biggest difference is working in the States as opposed to working in Europe?
We're the benchmark.
It's all kind of the same.
You know, like if it passes through our desk first, it becomes worldwide. I'm just saying. You come from Japan, you come from China, you come from Brazil, you come from India, you come from Europe. It's all amazing, but it has to go through here first in order for it to be benchmarked. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah.
So here, if you can establish here, I can go into India and take over Bollywood. You know what I mean? I can, if you even get a little something here in Hollywood or LA, literally you can change the world anywhere and you're credible. Does that make sense? Like, we appreciate other cultures, but like this is the core of, this is the spout where the glory comes out.
Of the world.
Basically, yeah, we set the different categories. There's salon, there's fashion, and there's celebrity. Totally different. Okay? Then you have education. The guys who do education, these guys are salon guys that want to give back to the industry. But they don't just come to the schools, they go worldwide and they get with manufacturers and they teach. But that's a big commitment. Hugo, who's supposed to be here, is a top Redken artist. He's gone every single week in everybody's salon doing what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? But he's teaching haircuts, he's training for the company, he's in New York all the time. Great way to travel. Bring him on the runway, it's totally different. Because runway, you gotta pay. But the equity from runway, talking another fruit. Salon, if you build a great salon following, I know people making 10 times the money I could have made, in the salon because they were just so amazingly great at customer service and the whole salon thing. Then, or you can, or you can find a celebrity and then you can take over everything. Because then I do runway. What I do is I go to the runways, find out what's next, what's new. I come back in the salon and I find out what's real, right? And then I I find a celebrity to put it on, and then it creates a trend. That's how I work. That's my formula. Okay, so yeah.
And,
Did that answer your question? Anybody else?
Do you have your own product line?
No.
No. Is that not worthwhile?
Well, it is if you have enough relationships. You can have them who are business people come to you and say, hey, I want to do your marketing, hey, I want to do your social media, hey, I want to design a product for you. Does that make sense? And then you have that, because just from me, it's hard to juggle just this already, you know what I mean? So product line, it would have to come with a whole different team saying, hey, we believe what you're doing, we think you could be a face, let's partner. Because right now, the relationships create partnerships, they create business partnerships, they create so many things. But they're still clients, you gotta think.
A guy named Robert Chromians in Las Vegas, and I worked for him for 2 years, and that's where it blew my mind in the industry. I had no idea that there was a whole nother world, and I feel like here there's people, and we just see that we're gonna graduate, and then we're just gonna go in a salon. But I got to experience Paul Mitchell's signature gatherings and going to these huge events and seeing these hair shows when I was barely learning to cut hair, and that just and that's why right now I'm such a Paul Mitchell geek, and it's that's the company that I kind of want to work for, just because a lot of my best friends, and I love that culture, and it's a whole different lifestyle, but I don't know, it's just...
I know everybody. I know Angus, all those guys are,
Yeah.
I'm in the book.
Yeah, Ira, all those dudes.
So yeah, it's a thing where, again, it's another lifestyle. I don't know anything. I know a lot about manufacturers and how that works. They take care of all their people, but again, you're flying under a brand where you may not be able to establish your own. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a given with a manufacturer. They'll take you in, you build their equity, but not necessarily you build your own. They'll fly you everywhere, and you'll show up. But unless you're like Robert Chromians, where you sign your deal, I'm Robert Chromians featuring.
International director globally.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't, even though he's Paul Mitchell, he's still flying like he's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Paul Mitchell's just his backing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And I guess what even Cantrell's trying to say is, he even says, I've listened to his CD, he's I used Paul Mitchell's name to make me famous, and it's just even from him using that, me using Robert Chromians to Paul Mitchell, but then all Thierry brothers come in, and it's to us, they have good ideas, and I know they're copying kind of Robert Chromians' ideas, trying to recruit kids, just right out of school, but I don't know, it's a lot.
Again, like I said, the reason why it's so hard to fathom how this whole works, and I'm talking especially with you and a lot of people that have a lot of big dreams, it's because there's levels of how this tree thing works. You plant the seed, right? Then it starts branching, from watering it, from, toiling it, raking it, whatever, we're talking, it starts to grow down, and all these are clients, relationships. Oh, now I understand which pathway to take, and then what happens is then you barely crack the ground. That's what I'm saying, man, take your time, dude. I know you're ambitious, and I know there's a lot here, but one thing you got to realize when there's a biblical. How many know the biblical parable of the sower and the seed? Nobody wrote. Okay, well, I barely know it too, but I'll just try to wing it. There's some seed that you plant and it goes really shallow. Some seed you plant and it goes amongst the rocks, right? Some seed and it's really good soil, right? Some seed doesn't even make it into the ground. It's right there on the road. This seed springs up, circumstance happens, and since they're not rooted, they fall, right? This seed gets thrown to the rocks. There's not enough soil, so it doesn't even grow. It's always rough because they're, instead of being interested in what they're doing, they're interested in all their boyfriends, whatever, looking cool, being down, whatever, and then they never take root. They never even get into the ground. This seed gets trampled on by all the things of the world. You know, like, damn, I don't have no more money. I gotta leave doing hair. Does that make sense? This seed right here gets planted in good soil, great salon, amazing people, and it starts to grow. Once it starts to grow, then it actually grows up, branches out, turns green, and then it bears fruit.
That's me.
See what I mean? So you got to take your time in this. Don't fly and then be like, you know, the Backstreet Boys and then you do one song and then you're disappear forever. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
It's so easy to do that, dude, to get a hit, but it's not easy to keep it up.
Alright, my last question. Should I go somewhere and prep for a big salon, or should I go straight into a salon? Because I don't want to just go into, I'm afraid that if I go into a big salon and not succeed, then I might fail, or should I go and prep? Like one of my friends is thinking about going, he was talking about maybe going to Supercuts and prepping, actually, Carlos, and prepping, getting his feet down, because they do have amazing techniques and building the back on it, then going in and like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, rather than just a straight student from learning skateboard basics. You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay, again, why didn't you guys go to Paul Mitchell from jump? Okay, let me tell you what broke gets you.
Oh.
Okay? Paul Mitchell, you pay what, 20, 30 grand a year?
Yeah.
Vidal Sassoon is like 35, 40, right? But then those kids come out with so much education that they think, where's my station? And then what happens? They get their station because they look amazing, they got this going on, and then they get to their station, and what are they doing? They're not doing hair. But you have all this talent, you came from this amazing school. Well, they didn't teach me how to get a client. You know what broke gets you? Puts the hustle down. Like you gotta scratch and fight for yours. You get that? I came from a school where they weren't teaching me nothing, I had to find it. So beauty school, it's great if you got a good core and all they're teaching you is core. Good basics, this is what you're supposed to learn. Outside of beauty school, once school ends, you start going out and you start interviewing salons, you start changing the world, you start getting influence. Then you come back into beauty school and know the difference. Beauty school is beauty school. You're not in the salon yet, right? So then do what you need to do as a core to pass your test, get through, and then when you go on the floor, you can try to apply all that other stuff. You guys get that? I need you guys to know this, you know what I mean? I knew this hairdresser and when I was first coming up, and you know, a lot of people might think, ah, well, you know, this is my 15th career, and you know, I have a kid, like, I don't know what everybody's circumstances, but this lady was a hairdresser on movies. She loved movies, she's such a character, you know, that's how hairdressers are. She was doing this hair for a movie, and I think she was like 40 at the time. So most of the time you would think 40 plus, how would I ever make it as amazing as I could have? It's BS, you know what I mean? Because this girl, since she was on set, she was in the place where she wanted to be, it was starting to build her love. The stand-in on the movie didn't show up. So she kind of looked like the star, so they brought her in, they lit her. Stand-in is somebody that they do the lighting on before the celebrity comes, okay? So she actually came in, she's in front of the light, she's the hairdresser now. she's like, oh, no, and she's loud, and everybody loves her because she's so, you know, personable to everybody. So one of the directors says, hey, I love you, you know, like, you're amazing. I want to call you back to cast you. She's like, cast me, I'm the hairdresser. So I don't know if she wanted to act or not, but anyways, she finally turned around, you know, and I don't know if the age or anything, all that is accurate, but I know she was up there. She actually turns around, books a movie deal, and she was the actual hairdresser. Whoopi Goldberg. So it's never too late to start. It's never too late. Your circumstance can't dictate what you do with yourself. You know what I'm saying? But what can dictate it is you making those choices of saying, what am I going to do with this? I'm broke, so I can't charge my clients that much based on what I have in my pockets. Does that make sense? So many hairdressers do that. A lot of my hairdressers are all young, and they're all like, dang, I can't charge over $100 because I don't have $100. You know what I mean? And that creates a lot of insecurity in a lot of people. You know, it's based on their lifestyle and what they are living. You got to realize we're trying to break out of that. We're trying to move up. We're trying to change the world. So you got to realize if somebody's willing to come to you, and because of the soil you were planted in, we're all charging $300. Why would you want to charge $50 for a haircut? Ride on the coattail of it. You guys understand how that works? The relationships, right? So you got to realize your equity is based on the soil you get planted into. It helps. It really does. You know, if you're around amazing hairdressers who are super creative, they're going to be amazing and super creative. But if they're all broke because they're not doing business, you're going to probably be super creative and broke. See what I mean? But if you're around a balance of great hairdressers who are trying to strive and grow up slowly in their time and build and create the relationships. I have a girl named Ruth. She's doing so many things right now, but she always said, you know what? Don't over give me stuff because I want to learn just as I go. She's in Tokyo now. She's doing all kinds of great things, you know, and it's not going to be long before she actually does amazing things. It's crazy because in most salons you only get one of those ones or maybe 2 of the 10. I got 5 or 6 of the 10 already in my salon of the amazing hairdressers. It's crazy because we're the soil that people want to be planted. Any other questions? Ask me now. I'm telling you, you can get some insight backstage.
How important is the people that have been around your life to you in the positive?
Got to be amazing. I mean, you gotta think this, okay? When you're in a plane, and I'm just gonna give you this in a nutshell. When you're in a plane, they say when there's a change in altitude, those masks come down, right? And what do they say? If you have a child with you, put your mask on first. But you're thinking, hey, that's my child. I want to save my child before I die for my child. But in actuality, you're going to die for your child for sure because if you put on their mask and then you get swept away, that child's going to die because you're not there to take care of them. Does that make sense? So you got to be selfish till your basic needs are taken care of so you can be selfless and you can give everybody else what they need. Okay? For instance, one time I was flying over Monaco with Halle Berry. And I was sitting next to her, or we're chilling in first class, or whatever, and we're going over the ocean. We see all the island, cobblestone roads, whatever. And I'd look at her and I say, you know, hey, Ali, you know, this plane was to go down. What would you do? And this was years ago when I first kind of. She's like, you know, I don't mean to sound like a bitch, but I'd have to save me. And I was thinking, damn, what a bitch. And I was thinking, oh my God, you know, like really? Like seriously, you know? But then I thought about it and we started talking. And you got to think, this whole reason why we're flying over Monaco was because of her. The makeup artists, the glam squad, the PR people, the manager, everybody had jobs because of her fruit. You guys get that? Yeah. So you got to realize, I may not be Halle Berry, but you know, like I'm bearing fruit now. People are building their careers. People are getting delighted in it. You know, people are changing their worlds. So you can change the world with enhanced reach, but you got to realize you got to be good first. This base has to be there. It's got to be strong and amazing before anybody else can get anything. Kids, family, boyfriend, husband, clients, whatever, employees. Go ahead.
How many years have you been established now?
Probably 18 strong.
Okay.
We established a great name, but that doesn't mean I
Yeah,
had money.
after that mark point, like those 5
Yeah.
years, whatever, after that.
Yeah.
What nationality are you?
Filipino, Spanish. But I grew up in a black neighborhood, so I'm a little dark.
So when you were becoming established, you had to sacrifice your personal life. Now that you're successful, are you able to have a personal life?
Oh yeah, for sure. Dude, I take off everywhere.
And,
I
like,
love
he's
my
here.
life. I love it. Okay, what I'm gonna give you guys a movie to watch. Watch it tonight, and if you can fathom how it works, it'll change your life on how you think about your career. Okay, Family Man, Nicolas Cage. Remember when he had his girlfriend? They were young, in love, and she was like, he got this great intern of the biggest company in London. She was like, no, don't go. You know, we'll make a life together and be wealthy. And he's like, no, I'm going. 10 years later, look at where he was, but he was empty. You guys get it? And then he had that glimpse where he actually came back, and then she saw the wealth, and if he would have went that way. So this is what I got from the movie. Watch it tonight, you'll see what I'm talking about. Establish yourself so you have something to offer somebody. Because if you don't have nothing to offer somebody, you both ain't gonna have shit. I'm just saying, period. Sorry for my language. Okay. Everybody's grown up, right? So I'm just saying, you're both not gonna have nothing because you guys are gonna rely on each other so much that you're gonna be taking away from what you could be doing for each other. Fruit, 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 fruit. You get it? If you guys are both one, how many know that fractions don't make whole numbers? They say, oh yeah, half and half make one. Yeah, but when you separate them, it's only half still. It doesn't matter if you built companies together, if you grow up together, doesn't matter. If you can't establish a whole number to another whole number, you guys aren't going to produce, especially apart from each other. You know what I mean? And who knows what can happen. So,
Well, in school, what do you recommend for them?
I just enjoy this time, man. You know, you're never going to get it back. You know what I mean? This is the time you need to wreck everybody, cut everybody's ears off, whatever you got to do. I'm just saying, because you're flying under a responsibility that they're saying, the state, I got you. You can mess up and learn this amazing thing we call hair without taking responsibility. Once you're in the salon, you're talking about, like, I've seen girls, because I work at Sally Hirschberger too. You guys know what salon that is? Okay.